Different truck today. My truck had some oil leaks, and so they put it out of service. They red tagged it, but I didn't know anything about it. And then after I said, oh, my truck is in the shop, because I went up to the shop to find it, I didn't go right back to dispatch. Then when I did finally get back to dispatch to get another truck assigned to me, they said, oh yeah, I forgot to tell you, your truck had some oil leaks, so they put it out of service. I have a lot of stuff in my truck. One thing I have in my truck is an electric, because a lot of the outlets, the cigarette lighter looking outlets, don't work. So I bought this splitter where I can split my electric into lots of different places. I can charge my phone, I can run my webcam, I can run 4 or 5 different devices from that. I don't think I'm going to find a gap in this traffic. I'm going to have to just get out of here. At least I picked a place where everyone can see me. There we go. Better scooting over a little bit. Oh, I got my jake brake on. That's why my shifting is so stellar. There, that was a nice shift. I got this far and I realized I didn't have my webcam on. In case I wanted to tell you anything. I also have my sunglasses in my truck. It's amazing how much you rely on the things that you gradually acquire. My gloves, my sunglasses, this electrical thing, because a lot of our latest destinations have been all for hire, and nobody knows where they are. They're brand new places to all of us, so we really need our GPS units to get us places. And if none of the outlets work in the truck, you can't keep your phone charged up, and you can't keep your GPS units working, and so you're SOL. But the worst part for me, I think I must be slightly autistic. I get really emotional when things aren't the way I expect. I think that really feeds into my rejection-sensitive dysphoria. So I notice that being able to choose my own emotions is really a good thing. I had no warning this morning that my truck would be out of service, and it might have helped, but it was an opportunity for me that I blew, but it was an opportunity for me to choose how I felt about that surprise in that moment. You can always choose in that moment, and instead my emotions overwhelmed me, and I was just frustrated beyond measure that everything I had all set up. I spent an hour and a half finding, I have 3 stops today, and I spent an hour and a half programming it into my GPS unit so I could just calmly go from one thing to the next. But I think the lesson is I need to be able to just calmly go from one thing to the next, even if I don't know what the next thing is. And if it's something totally different than I expected it to be. I'm serious about the autism. I don't know. I'm older than a lot of the people who have been diagnosed with it, but that feeling of being completely overwhelmed by something I didn't expect. I think I've seen that with kids I've taught over the years. I would like to reprogram myself, if that is the case. Find some way to just, in every moment, no matter how disturbing or how unsettling and how unexpected, that I can choose how I feel right then. Because it felt like, in the hour that I was adjusting, it felt like I didn't have a choice. It felt like, okay, life sucks. I took it out on a couple of people. I showed them my anger. I didn't blame them, but they could see that I was really frustrated and upset with the situation. So they had to be subject to my emotions. That wasn't anything they would have chosen, I'm sure. There's understanding. People say to themselves, they may say, well, that guy really overreacted. Or they may say, well, yeah, I would have felt just like that in that situation. Who knows? Some people keep their cards up against their vest. You don't know how they feel. But it's still an opportunity every time. In the future, obviously, things will happen that I don't expect, that I don't see coming. And I'll have more opportunities, I'm sure, to choose calm, confident, relaxed, rational, assured, strong and steady.
In 1.25 miles, take the exit on the right to US 222 North toward I-76. In 1 mile, exit right.
And I'm sure that will make it easier for me to deal with whatever is there, but also it makes me more attractive. It makes it easier for the universe to pour goodness into my life, into my world. That crass attitude, you know, going over the acronym CRASS, that attitude makes it easier for the universe to give me things. Just a thought I wanted to save. I don't know if I'm going to use it anywhere, but sometimes the people who have the most affection for you are the ones that are used by the universe most powerfully as your adversaries. Just because they really feel a lot of emotions, they would say positive emotions. I was thinking about my dad. I don't think anyone has done more to harm me in my life than my dad. And probably nobody would say that he liked me more than my dad says he likes me. You know, that's a conundrum. Special, all about nuclear reactors and how we should think about them. I'm not sure how I should think about them, but I have some grave misgivings. I don't like burning fossil fuels, for sure. I wish there were a clear-cut answer. Anyway, look off in the distance. I'll figure out what that one is. I'm near Pottstown, Pennsylvania. I have another video. I was in the Poconos. I'm pretty sure this isn't the same one. So they seem to just kind of blend in. This one is obvious, but you don't really think about them. I remember being a kid in the 70s, 60s and 70s, and there was a lot of controversy about power plants of all kinds, but especially nuclear.
1.25 miles, take the exit on the right to Pennsylvania 724 toward Phoenixville.
Two vastly different perspectives. From one perspective, I'm a scared little puppy, afraid that if I don't have my regular truck, I'll be late, which, who cares? Someone will disapprove of me, or I'll end up looking stupid. Who knows what my psyche is afraid of. Probably all the things my dad's psyche was afraid of when he was growing up, that he passed down. His dad passed down. I don't know. Deep down, I don't really know what makes fear happen. It isn't the circumstances. From the other perspective, everything is so simple and nothing matters very much. And if you can't figure out one way to do something, you'll figure out another way. Or if you die, you die. Everybody does it. Whatever you get done before then is whatever you get done before then. If fear is rooted in a fear of death, if that's the biggest fear, that's not a big deal. So I'm not quite sure how I get into this state where I worry so much about things. That crass place, the confident, relaxed, assured, strong, and steady place, is possible, and it feels good and normal when I'm in it. And that shifting back and forth can be triggered easily, way too easily, by circumstances. Almost like I've been programmed to jump into a fear response based on what happens to me in the external world. After I see what's going on and I shift perspectives and I look at it, and what helped me today was I was delivering at my second stop, and there was somebody who wasn't the usual person unloading the truck, and he was so nervous about what I would think of him. He was so nervous about messing up unloading the truck, and then it put me in a place where I wanted to reassure him and help him feel calm. Then that's what shifted me, and I thought, well, hell, I'm not doing anything scarier than what he's doing. And then I thought about all the people that seem so afraid when they're driving their cars. Wow, that's a beautiful hawk. Red-tailed hawk. I don't think I can catch that on the slow-mo, but anyway, the hawk distracted me. But I feel like I can stay in this perspective with more practice. That I can get to a place more quickly if I don't stay in it where I need to be. I can just remember what it feels like looking back after I've calmed myself down, and I can say, okay, I can do this. This is just like last time. And everyone else is just as scared as I am. And we're all in this together. Even my antagonists are probably just as scared or more scared than I am. I may change some of them into protagonists just by understanding how afraid they are. This game, this life game, has built-in baffles that keep us from just smoothly sailing through the game. Just like any game, there are challenges. So you have your route all figured out, pre-programmed in your GPS, and then they throw you a curveball. They give you a truck that doesn't have any electrical power in it, so you can't even use your GPS. Then you have to take that truck to the shop and get the fuses put back in it that it needs so that it'll have power so your GPS can work and your webcam can work, or whatever else you're trying to do. You end up 15 minutes late. Technically, I'm not late, I heard, unless I'm half an hour late, but you end up not being able to run the game the way you want to. But it's just a game. You can drive the speed limit in the game, you can go 100 miles an hour in the game, you can do what you choose. Beautiful river. You can do what you choose to do. You can play the game how you wish. And who cares? It's just a game. I don't want to damage anyone. And that's how I'm choosing to play the game. And I assume it's a multiplayer game and that the other people can be helped or hindered. I don't want to hinder anybody. When I do, when I help people, I enjoy playing the game that way. But when I can't make it work the way I want to, in my perfectionist way, like I like to see if I can keep at the speed limit all day long and never vary. But you can be a perfectly good truck driver without doing that, and I probably am a better truck driver sometimes when I choose not to do that. Like when I'm coming down a hill and then about to go up a hill, I'm probably better off to let the truck run down the hill and get some speed up for the next hill that's coming. But then I have to go over the speed limit, so then I don't want to do that. I can play it that way if I want, but I don't have to. And that's what keeps me in a place where I'm not afraid, not worrying if I follow the rules or not, knowing I can if I want to, but I don't have to. There are kids in elementary classrooms who have spent their whole lives learning how to get attention by misbehaving. And they live for it. They live for the dopamine spike when somebody notices them and then calls attention to their bad behavior. Proper teachers often believe that they can't let misbehavior go unnoticed and unnoted, and the rest of the class gets used to hearing about Johnny's misbehavior in kindergarten, and first grade, and second grade, and third grade. By the time they get to Mrs. McGillicuddy in fourth grade, this kid is in a pattern, and it's nearly unbreakable. But I remember as a music teacher, I would teach entire classrooms to extinguish the behavior. This is using behaviorism, I admit, by not calling attention to it. And only noticing behavior that is commendable. Or noticing when no behavior is happening. That's pretty good. And so little Johnny in Mrs. McGillicuddy's class can be completely rewired, even if Mrs. McGillicuddy is clueless, just by the fellow students not calling any attention to Johnny's misbehavior. And these kids are junkies. They absolutely have to have attention. So if you withhold attention, unless they do something else, one way or another, they're going to do something else because they have to have that attention. And I bring this up because I was thinking about the way I respond to when something unfair happens to me.
Hazard reported ahead.
If I have my whole route figured out, but I have to have a truck with electricity to make it work, and then dispatch knows that my truck has been red tagged, and they text me during the night to tell me that my load is ready, but they don't bother telling me that I need to switch trucks, I can feel myself like, of course I'm going to react this way. I'm going to get angry and I'm going to make sure they know. But it does the same thing. It doesn't do anything good. I don't know that it reinforces bad behavior, but one thing's for sure, it puts me in a different frame. It puts me in a frame of not being anything I want to be. And if there are gaslighters at the metaphysical level, then they expect me to react in certain ways when something happens. This little yellow Isuzu behind me was champing at the bit to get around me. I wonder if he's going to react in a predictable way that I had to stay over in the left lane and impede his progress in order to be safe. Anyway, the gaslighters. They expect me to act in a predictable manner if they're actually throwing things in front of me and not just waiting for it to happen by itself. But if it happens by itself, it doesn't matter. They're waiting for me to react in a predictable way and dismantle me then after I react that way, because then my emotions aren't where I want them to be.
Hazard reported.
And I can't manifest in life what I want to manifest. And I'm easy to control. It's easy to control people when you can push their buttons and make them react predictably. Especially if they don't even realize you're doing it. And no gaslighter worth his salt, or her salt, is going to make it so obvious that you can always tell they're doing it. So, again, getting back to no buttons, you need to make sure that yours aren't sticking out. You need to at least unwire them. And I know that I can do it. I know I don't have to be like those prim and proper teachers who always call attention to bad behavior no matter what, because they know it's the right thing to do. And they're just hardwired almost to do it. I remember teaching young teachers, college level, teaching them to be teachers, and it was really difficult for them, even though they hadn't been teaching very long, because they'd seen it the other way their entire teaching careers. They'd seen other teachers calling attention to bad behavior, and they just already were wired that way because they had that example. So I am similarly wired. I need to unwire myself so that I don't react predictably when life goes in ways I don't want. And then I can realize that probably it's going exactly as I need it to go. And I can, like the little tailor I was talking about earlier, I can make sure that no matter what happens, it works out to my benefit. I might have guessed. That's a Limp Biscuit if I ever saw one.
In 3/4 of a mile, arrive at home, on the right.